The following is a special presentation of ABC Sports.
In America's heartland, a game that quickens the pulse, shortens the breath, and at the outset leaves one nervously anticipating. For the Cornhuskers, a possible national championship and a perfect season hangs in the balance. For the Sooners, another chance as a spoiler against their arch rival. So in this festive season of giving thanks, we celebrate a classic as ABC Sports, in association with the CFA, presents college football. A Big 8 conference showdown. The 8-2 Sooners of Oklahoma and the unbeaten Cornhuskers of Nebraska. And we invite you for the next 24 hours to make up your own mind. Who is number one? The writers say it's Florida State over Nebraska. The coaches disagree. They have rated Nebraska number one. Tomorrow, Florida State and Florida, but now it is Nebraska and Oklahoma. Well, good afternoon. Happy Thanksgiving. Welcome, everybody. I'm Brett Musburger. The weather is going to be a huge factor before this game is over. It is downright miserable here, especially for the players. The quarterbacks will have difficulty throwing into that wind. Our wind chill factor expected to be 15 degrees below zero. Got my partner, Dick Vermeil. He's saddled up with the latest in the hunting gear. He's got everything on and ready to go. Dick, listen, when you took a look at the tapes of Oklahoma, what'd you find with this team?
Well, I came here with a preconceived idea as to how good they are. And you know something, they're better than I thought they were. They were banged up in the middle of the year, lost a couple. Right now, they're healthier than they've been all year. Cale Gundy throwing more touchdowns now than interceptions. First time in his career. Defensively, they gave up 31 yards and 1 first down to their last opponent. They're solid.
Now, what about Nebraska? They've been on the receiving end of more cheap shots than anybody since Dan Quayle.
I know. I'll say this. Tom Osborne has done some great coaching jobs. I think he's done his best this year. They are not as talented as some of the teams I've seen Nebraska have in the past. They do a lot of things on offense. Tommie Frazier runs an option offense, 3 different styles of options. He throws the ball in the play-action game extremely well. They play pretty good defense, but not as talented as I thought I'd find them to be.
All right, so it is coming up. Nebraska and Oklahoma. North Carolina with a win today against Duke. So many classics between these two schools, Nebraska and Oklahoma. Let's turn back the clock. I'll show you what happened in 1976. Hostile weather. Barry Switzer, he was coaching the Sooners. The old familiar wishbone. The hook and ladder. And the Sooners were in business. Their quarterback that day, Dean Blevins. Way to go, Barry said to Dean, and here he is now. Dean, nice to have you with us on the sideline.
Well,
today.
It's great to be here, guys. You mentioned how cold it is. Actually, the wind is a bigger factor than the actual temperature. It'll be blowing right to left on your screen about 20 miles an hour. I talked to both quarterbacks, Gundy and Frazier. They both said that's a bigger factor than the temperature. I think the weather will limit Oklahoma more than Nebraska. Sooners more of a finesse team, throw it and catch it. Nebraska's an assault team. We'll keep an eye on it. Back to you.
Dean, thank you. Coach Osborne, what a remarkable career he has had here at Nebraska. 1 goal has eluded him, a national championship. Coach Gibbs, in his 5th year, 1 victory against Nebraska. This a big one, with Tom Sealer kicking off, P.J. Mills, number 4, and Darius Johnson, number 42, deep for the Sooners. Oklahoma, Nebraska is underway, and here comes Johnson. To the left, and to the 25-yard line. And the quarterback is Cale Gundy. And Dick Vermeil, what can we expect from this senior out of Midwest City, Oklahoma?
Well, he's throwing a higher percentage completion ratio right now than he ever has. He's also very good in the option game, making good decisions.
Number 12, can the passing game operate? The wind swirling here in Memorial Stadium. This their first play. Terry Collier, the fullback, is directly behind Gundy. And this is Collier, left side, sprints to a hole to the 33-yard line, and John Reese. The backs and receivers for OU. James Allen, talented freshman. We just saw Collier. The offensive line, Joe Carrillo. And that offensive line, he's the son of a former NFL star out of Notre Dame and the Los Angeles Rams. Now the defense, the 4-3, Trev Alberts, the defensive player of the year in the Big 8. The 3 linebackers, and they're very talented. Ed Stewart, number 32 out of Chicago, will flash. The defensive backfield, it's a good one, as usual here. 2nd and 2 now for the Sooners. And they run the freshman tailback, and it is Toby Wright, the strong safety, making the stop. So James Allen, Dick, when you looked at the tapes of this freshman running back, what do you think?
Well, I like it very much. Obviously, he's had a good year. He's the 7th rusher in the Big 8, Brent, and he runs with the poise of a sophomore or a junior running back. Doesn't run timid at all. He's got good speed, and he's got a great high school career to back up his stats and his performances early in his career.
There's a first down run for him, and now you can see Oklahoma operating with a pair of wingbacks in this formation. It's a passing formation. A short drop, incomplete. Albert Hall, the intended receiver that time, and Tyrone Williams was the cornerback with the coverage.
Watson Brown, the offensive coordinator for Oakland, told me that they were going to, for Oklahoma, told me that they were going to come out and they're going to start with a lot of screens and run up underneath those defensive ends because Trev Alberts is such a problem to pass protect that they want to slow him down by getting underneath him. Pass protection will slide toward him.
There is Brown, a very popular figure.
I'll tell you, he's done an excellent job of turning this offense around from a year ago.
2nd and 10 for the Sooners. All on their own 37. Collier, the running back, and Gundy to throw it again. Under pressure, he'll run. 45, midfield, first down. And it is Gundy to the 37 before Troy Dumas can get him down for the Cornhuskers. Wonderful scramble. 26 yards.
See, they stunted the defensive line, cross-charged the defensive tackles in the middle. To your right of your screen, you'll see them cross-charge inside. They picked up that stunt properly. The coverage took the pattern away. Now, here's the mobility of Gundy. See, he gets up there. I'd like to see him tuck that ball under just a little bit sooner, but that's just like a quarterback draw.
Opening drive for the Sooners, and that's how they break down this year.
They're a little more balanced. So you can see that 67% run, 33% pass.
Sending Allen in motion and a counter with the fullback Collier, and he is eaten up by Kevin Raymakers.
You can bet they're going to try to put more than one guy on Alberts from time to time in this ballgame, especially in pass protection situations. Number 34, Trev Alberts. See, they block him right with the tight end. Now he keeps coming right on around. He has an awfully good first step, Brent. He really gets off on the ball, and he can accelerate, and he has great instinct. That's why he was the Big 8 Player of the Year.
The defensive standout of the year here at the Big 8. Unanimous choice by the Associated Press. 2nd and 11 for Gundy. Chance to put it up again. He has a talented tight end in Ricky Brady. Gundy drops for the wide receiver, and a diving catch over there at the 28 by Corey Warren, the senior flanker.
Corey Warren in his career, their lead, like you say, I think number 2 receiver in the history of Oklahoma, but he's only caught one ball against Oklahoma, so he starts out quickly. See, a little short roll, and Trev Alberts is starting to get into his face, but he gets the ball on that out pattern, single coverage, no one helping underneath, completed pass.
3rd and 1 as the result of that 11-yard reception by Warren. Now they will measure on that far side just to make sure, and then they'll come back and spot the ball in the middle of the field. So a couple of years ago when they played in Lincoln, it was nasty, but a different kind of nasty, and that it was very wet that day, a lot of rain. It was much warmer. Here, it is going to be cold and wind that they will fight throughout the afternoon.
Charlie McBride, the defensive coordinator now for Nebraska, told me that he was going to try to do things to break the rhythm of Oklahoma offense and probably play a little more man coverage that will allow him to blitz a little bit more. Plus, he's going to go to a stacked defense and take Trev Albert from a down lineman position, stack him behind as a linebacker, and blitz him from that position. I haven't seen that change up yet, but I think we'll see it soon.
3rd and short. Will Brown settle for a first down here in a short burst? Or will he let Gundy play fake and throw for it and come back on 4th down? We'll see now. Collier is right behind Gundy.
They like the quarterback sneak in the past in this situation. There he goes.
Over the top for the first down. The 27-yard line, and the chains will move here for the Sooners on their opening possession. A 9-point underdog here in Lincoln this afternoon against the Cornhuskers, who have already wrapped up the Big 8 championship and will head to the Orange Bowl. Their opponent unknown as of this time.
This would be a big boost if they could go ahead and be successful on this first drive, Brent, because they've been a slow-starting offensive team. They really only scored 54 of their total 310 points in the first quarter. That's not a big percentage.
Using the one back and employing their tailback as a wingman. Gundy, short drop high and incomplete. Tyrone Williams with the coverage, and that was on the tight end, Brady.
Usually when you throw a slant pattern high over the top of a wide receiver, you stay back on your back foot and you don't follow through properly. See, that ball was really up there in the air, really tough to catch that one, especially in a cold day when your fingers are cold. Of all your body, as a player, I think the coldest part are going to be your hands.
Dick, you know, the free safety, John Reese, coming in behind, almost had a shot at an interception for the Cornhuskers. Now 2nd and 10. Gundy to Allen on the handoff, and Allen steps beautifully inside. Allen out of bounds at the 6-yard line. Tremendous move coming around the left side for the Sooners.
The Statue of Liberty from that one-back set, Brent. They had 3 receivers to one side, and Trev Alberts got injured on that play trying to make the play. Ricky Brady, the big tight end, blocked him. You'll see it to the right side of your screen. You'll see Trev Alberts, number 34, coming hard to the outside. See, now he gets thrown to the inside, then falling on top of, and they come around the outside. Poor tackle effort right there. See, and then that good movement right there, first down.
A 19-yard gain to the 7-yard line. That was Dumas, who failed to wrap him up. He is in because of Beeler's injury today for the Cornhuskers. On 1st and goal, Gundy throws for it, incomplete at the goal line, and it was Baron Miles, number 14, who broke it up at the goal line.
Under Watson Brown's leadership, Oklahoma's offense has been very successful in the red zone this year. They've been down here 39 times, and they've scored 35 of them. That's 90%. Now, here's good defense reaction to the ball. Actually had a chance to pick that thing off.
Alberts receiving medical attention on the Nebraska sideline.
They need his pass rush ability more.
Sooners opening drive. Here's the hand to Collier, steps to the left, crashes to the 1 into the goal line. Ball is fumbled into the end zone. Ball was fumbled into the end zone. They whistled it down, however, at about the 1-yard line. Ball has been whistled dead.
Still running the type of a play. That was a draw play, start right, draw back, thinking they're running a draw under Trev Alberts. It wasn't Trev Alberts, it was under Bruce Moore. It still worked good. You'll see now the quarterback will sprint slightly to his right and hand back. They turn the defensive tackle inside. They get a nice block by the wide receiver right there, Albert Hall, and he puts it right to the goal line, not across the goal line. Must break the plane.
Inside of the 1-yard line. 12th play of the opening series coming for the Sooners. They go to the full house set. And Gundy under center will keep it to the right side toward the end zone and the goal line. Sooners are signaling touchdown. Officials say no. A scramble for the ball down on the field, and the officials quickly call timeout now to sort things out down there.
You know, so often in goal line offense, Brent, you see a quarterback center problem, exchange problem in the goal line when they try to run a quarterback sneak, because normally the quarterback is moving away from the line of scrimmage and not to it. Right in the middle of your screen. Now watch the ball there. Oh, he still got it cleanly right there, and it's a right hand. They're going to try to strip it out. Baron Miles came around there and tried to strip it out.
They're going to go for it here on 4th down. Oklahoma is 6 out of 7. They've been very successful converting 4th downs. Again, full house. Nebraska's goal line. A handoff. Touchdown, Dwayne Chandler in the middle of that full house backfield. Blasts into the end zone, and Oklahoma strikes first.
Dwayne Chandler has been their short yardage touchdown type of guy. That's his 10th touchdown on the year. Just a direct handoff, lead back blocked by the halfback. He gets it in there. He's caught pretty nice by the linebacker in that situation, but he only needed a couple inches. Boy, that drive really gives you a mental lift when you haven't had great success all year in the first quarter, and you come in again in the most meaningful game of the year and do well in that first drive. That really helps you mentally.
Scotty Blanton adds the extra point. Oklahoma leading unbeaten Nebraska by 7. Oklahoma scoring on its opening drive, taking a 7-0 lead. And Scott Blanton, who handles all the kicking chores. Dick, he's about the busiest kicker we've seen all year.
He really is. I talked to him yesterday as he practiced on this field. It was really cold out here, Brent. And he told me it doesn't affect his kicking as much as it does his punting. The cold weather bothers his punting more than it does his kicking.
Nebraska set to return. Corey Dixon and Damon Binning. And on the second hop, picked up by Dixon. The wide receiver looks for an alley to the 35. There is a penalty marker down at the 35-yard line, and we go back to this moment to show you again how Alberts was injured, being tossed away, and then the blocker pouncing on him on the turf. And Dean, what's the status now of the linebacker for the Cornhuskers?
Bad news. Trev Alberts out for the game, a dislocated elbow, Brent. He just walked off a moment ago into the Nebraska locker room. Bruce Moore now comes in and plays. He plays a lot, but Trev Alberts, the best in the country, he is out for the game.
Boy, what a loss. Wow, and you're struggling a little bit on defense against this kind of offensive front anyway, Brent.
So a dislocated elbow knocks him out. And the first play from scrimmage is Tommie Frazier throwing. Incomplete. It'll be 2nd and 10 for Nebraska. And here is Tommie Frazier. What about this young man out of Bradenton, Florida, Dick?
Brent, he has tremendous quickness. He runs the option as well as anybody in the country, and his throwing has really improved. He's 11 touchdown passes, 3 pass interceptions, doing a real fine job there. Tough defense, this guy.
2nd and 10. Calvin Jones, the I-back. Corey Schlesinger is the fullback. It's Calvin Jones, and he is bottled up after a gain of about a yard. Calvin Jones has enjoyed quite a career rushing. He'll need another big day against OU. Abdul Muhammad is the wingback, and here is the offensive line, and as usual, it includes several 300-pounders who will wind up someday playing on Sunday. The 3-4 for the Sooners' defensive front. Aubrey Beavers, tough man to block. You might want to look for him, number 56. And there's the defensive backfield for the Sooners, who lead Nebraska 7-0. And as you know, just looking at that line play, that there are flags coming down, and we've got a penalty.
Oklahoma was very late in getting their nickel defensive package in the ballgame.
Ball start, offense, penalty 5 yards, repeat 3rd down.
Osborne and the Cornhuskers receive a big blow to begin this game. They are All-American linebacker defensive end Trev Alberts lost for the day with that dislocated elbow. The Sooners score on their first drive, but I want to tell you something about this series, folks. The winner normally comes from behind. Don't know why, but it generally has happened in the Oklahoma-Nebraska series, and the home team has not enjoyed a huge advantage either. Frazier in trouble with this defense. Sooners surround him, gets it off, and the ball is dropped by the fullback Schlesinger.
No reason to drop that football other than taking your eyes off it, or maybe your hands are real cold, but it went right between his hands. Good pick up by Frazier under tremendous pressure to be able to find him open. You'll see the pressure that he's under right now. Now he starts to reverse his field, goes back the other way, fires the ball. Good presence of mind to find the open receiver.
Now another busy kicker is this young man from Nebraska, Byron Bennett. He punts it away. Darius Johnson will just let it bounce, and it's going to take a Nebraska roll to the 22-yard line. We'll be right back with the Sooners leading the Huskers by 7. This illustrates the point I was making about how the winner in this series generally comes from behind. 23 of the last 30 winners of the Nebraska-Oklahoma shootout have come from behind. The Sooners lead at 7-0, their second series. 1st and 10, coming out from their own 26-yard line with their most prolific passer of all time, Cale Gundy, at the controls. Here's the end around, and they're bringing P.J. Mills to the left side. Gets a block, spins away, and is finally forced out of bounds to the far side by Terry Connealy.
See, Watson Brown doing everything he can early in the ball game to slow down the quickness of the defense, make them stay at home and take us on physically.
Now he went back to the left side as Texas A&M last night with a win. North Carolina today defeating Duke 38-24. Dick, I think the point we want to make about Watson Brown right away is he ran to the Albert side. They certainly are going to test the replacement over there.
Oh, no question, Brett. They'll come over there. They've done it already, as you said. They'll come back over there, and they'll find it a little bit easier, believe me. Trev Alberts is impossible to replace.
2nd and 4, ball at the 34. Cut back in the middle by Allen to the 37-yard line, and Troy Dumas, number 4. So a couple of injuries now looming on that defense. Alberts out. Ernie Beeler unable to play today because of an injury. And overall, Dick, you did not rate this Nebraska defense as one of the finest of Osborne's tenure here.
No, they're not as physical. They really aren't. The down linemen, other than Trev Alberts, are not of the caliber they've had in the past. But they play extremely well together. They're disciplined, and they can run.
Away, and here's the toss to Allen, and Allen is surrounded, and still he slips through to the 42-yard line, and Baron Miles. Now we want to see Bruce Moore, who has stepped in there as the replacement, and see how he holds up here in place of Alberts.
Well, he plays that defensive end position. You see him right there in the middle of your screen. They're trying to hook block him. They can't hook him. He's working inside out properly, trying to force the ball, rally some help from his linebackers, and he does get some help, but they don't make the play.
2nd down and 4. Ball at the 43-yard line. Sooners moving again. Basic eye this time, and they come right back with Wayne Chandler, who scored their touchdown, and he is swallowed up by the middle of the defense. Eddie Stewart, number 32. Now there's a linebacker who will flash for you.
I really like him, Brent. He is not real big at 6'1", 215, but he can really run. In this ball game last year, he intercepted a pass and took it back 50 yards for a touchdown, the only first half score. But he makes plays, and he can put you on your back for his size. Very impressive.
They've got a rally without their ringleader. Their All-American Alberts gone for the day, and it's 3rd and 3. Ball at the 44-yard line.
No back attack. This is new.
And throwing high and incomplete. Warren, the intended receiver, was covered by Miles. The pass was high.
I still think most high balls that you got to take completely with your hands are going to be more trouble today than any other game these kids have played in, Brent, because those hands are cold regardless of the gloves you're wearing.
Scott Blanton hunting for the Sooners, and back is Corey Dixon, a wide receiver of the Cornhuskers. Wind chill factor below 0 here in Lincoln this afternoon. You know what? They could have blocked that punt. It goes out of bounds at the 28-yard line. They came right up the gut that time on it, and he could have rolled in there. I thought Dumas could have eaten it up.
Actually, and I think it distracted Blanton, but it was a terrible punt. But in my career in coaching, in cold weather, punters had a hard time punting the football well. You'll see here it's a good snap. Right in his hands. You'll see the red jerseys right there. They actually slowed down on it.
Now first down for the Huskers. Tommie Frazier handing off into the middle of the Sooner defense, and Mike Coates, number 41, making the stop. And I got a moment. Tonight, don't settle for leftovers. All new episodes of your TGIF favorites, Family Matters, Boy Meets World, Step by Step, and Hanging with Mr. Cooper, plus Hugh Downs and Barbara Walters. New 2020, all tonight here on ABC. Second down and 9, ball at the 30-yard line for the Cornhuskers, trailing by 7 against Oklahoma. Tommie Frazier is cut off, and he'll bring it back. He's a splendid runner, good option quarterback, makes his way to the 34-yard line, and Larry Bush, the free safety, brings him down.
I'll tell you, that just is a great example of his kind of mobility. I mean, there's no way to shut the door on this guy completely. Right, left, up the middle. We've seen him already in a scramble situation make a big play. He runs his own counter play. You have to maintain balance when you want to make a play on this guy. Keep your feet apart, your hips down, your head up, and be ready, because he's going to bounce around there pretty good.
Running away from Quavesy that time, the outside linebacker. Now here's Tommie. This is 3rd and 5. Ball at the Cornhuskers' 34-yard line. Tommie Frazier rolling to the right, going to throw for it, incomplete. Abdul Muhammad, the wingman, couldn't hold on.
See, they moved the pocket that time, and it gives him the chance to run if he has to run. He's outside the contained man. That ball should have been caught. Abdul came into the ball game having caught 23 balls. Just a junior out of Compton, California.
Nebraska's first 2 series, Dick, 3 and out.
3 and out. And Tom Osborne told me the one thing he wanted to try to do real well is do a good job on first down, because he didn't think he could do a consistent job on 3rd and long situations.
Bennett punted. Johnson back deep. Wow. Drives one back. Johnson from the 15-yard line. Tripped up, and down he'll go at the 20-yard line. That was Damon Benning who tripped him up. Warm and toasty inside that costume today. Oklahoma leading Nebraska by 7. And in its 6th season, the Honda Scholar Athlete Award is brought to you by American Honda. This week's award goes to Trev Alberts, the senior linebacker from the University of Nebraska. He holds a 3.31 GPA in speech communications. He's from Cedar Falls, Iowa. Honda presents a check for $3,000 to the General Scholarship Fund of the University of Nebraska. Alberts is very appreciative, but he would prefer to be healthy right now and playing in this bone chiller. 1st and 10. Oklahoma with the lead. Gundy only 1 of 5 throwing. This is the toss back to the running back, Moore, and Dumas brings him down at the 19-yard line. So the other freshman running back, Gerald Moore, into the Sooners lineup and gets his first carry of the game.
Here's Stewart, number 32. See him playing close up inside the line. They're trying to confuse the zone blocking there. They run a little toss reverse, and that slowed him down.
Dick, I want to go back on replacing Alberts, because they really have adjusted 2 people. I don't want our audience confused by seeing Bruce Moore line up on the left, because they moved a man to the Alberts spot.
Right, they moved Dante over to the other side. Dante Jones over into Trev Alberts' spot.
On 2nd and 11, Gundy on the roll. Tight end dropped it. Ricky Brady dropped it. He knew it. And I will tell you, in this weather, receivers already have shown us that it is very difficult to hang on to the football.
It is, Brent. And you know, the audience might have a preconceived idea as to what the weather really is when you see the blue sky and the sun and all that. But down there on that field, it is cold.
15 below 0 wind chill right now.
And it bites.
Wind is whipping across the plains, out of the northwest, howling in here to Memorial Stadium. Yet some of the most loyal football fans in the world have jammed this stadium again. Now Gundy backing up, throws high, and it is complete to the fullback on the run to the 26-yard line before Dumas can make the stop on Collier.
Clever little play, and that it's really like a delayed sweep. They toss the ball out there and bring the tackle out to lead that play. It's been a good play for him all along. Not successful that time.
195 consecutive sellouts. Folks, that is amazing here in this stadium, because trust me, there have been some days when the North Texas states have come a-calling. Doesn't matter to these Cornhusker fans. They will jam this place. Oklahoma forced to punt it away again, leading by 7, and the ball is down at the 42-yard line. Every time I see somebody down a punt today, unfortunately, I think of Leon Lett. Yesterday, he became the wrong way Regals of the National Football League, didn't he? That was unbelievable down there. Now here come the Cornhuskers.
They get in that double tight end formation, Brent, to try to balance up the defense, and then they run to what they think is the softest side according to the perimeter.
There's the hand, and Jones behind the middle of the line, got a couple of yards that time. Mike Coates diving in underneath. He's a fine player.
Yes, he is. You know, he's a senior. He's been around a long time, made 249 tackles coming into this ball game. And you watch him play, he's an excellent tackler. He bends his knees properly, and he can really deliver a nice blow. Doesn't miss many.
There's number 41, one of the defensive stalwarts for Coach Gibbs and the Sooners. Second down. Nebraska shows a double tight end formation, and Frazier brings the option to the short side, keeps it himself, turns the corner for a couple more yards.
See, they want to keep him moving toward the sideline and don't let him get turned up. He had no inside lane to cut up, no one to pitch to. Good defense, and it takes real discipline to defense the option.
I think Coach Osborne was telling us that one of the reasons why he likes the option is because of weather like this. When the wind blows in here, he said it would be very difficult to maintain an outstanding passing game and just have the prototype drop back passer. He said we need to run the ball 2 or 3 times a year in this conference.
That's right, and he runs a variety of options too.
35. Let's see what Frazier and the Huskers come up with off a fake to Jones. Frazier rolling to the right side, going to keep it, battling for the first down. You could see on that far side it'll be close. Johnny Anderson, the strong safety, Dick, making the stop.
You know what he really wanted to do is run a shuffle play, because I watched him on practice, but the timing of it was broken down. You'll see a back coming in motion, 27, Abdul coming in motion here. See him coming in, trying to get in position for the pitch. Good penetration, eliminated that play. Good defense, but they still are close to the first down.
And you could tell by the roar of the crowd, they got it. So Nebraska across midfield into OU territory.
Well, Tom Hayes, the defensive coordinator for Oklahoma, said they're going to try to disrupt him. They're going to blitz more than they have coming into the games this year and get after him and try to get him in the backfield, knock the ball loose, create the turnover.
Here's Jones. They're ready for him, weren't they? That was Russell Allen. So here today, you're looking at the coaches' #1 team, and tomorrow on ABC, you will take a look at the writers' #1, Florida State. They go up against Florida. No team tougher at home than the Gators under Steve Spurrier, unbeaten. And some of you will see Penn State against Michigan State. Big Ten matchup. And of course, another reminder that the Skins game is coming your way from the Bighorn Golf Club. So that's a golf classic on Thanksgiving weekend. And now second down and 8 from the 45-yard line for Tommie Frazier and the Cornhuskers. Bringing the option down the line, and nothing doing. Hit by Mario Freeman.
Mario did a real nice job, and then again, he's a linebacker, see, and he had to scrape off to get there.
Oklahoma leading Nebraska 7-0 at the end of the first quarter. It is indeed a brave new world in college football. The Bowl Coalition, they certainly have received their share of criticism, but I've got to give them credit for one thing. By not making secret bowl deals early, it sure made some entertaining games late in this particular season. The major's set to draft next week after all the results are in. That's the way it should be. Tommie Frazier, and he is eaten up by that Oklahoma defense. Johnny Anderson coming around, and he was in there with Russell Allen.
They were in a nickel defense, and they ran a strong safety blitz. John Anderson coming from a strong safety position. He was lined up on the slot to the right-hand corner of your screen, and you'll see him move off. See him move off lately, that is really tough to handle from an offensive standpoint, especially when you move that late.
Well, Dick, you said that Oklahoma's defense looked better than you had expected, and I think it has gotten better since the Colorado game. I was not particularly impressed. I know that ABC had covered that game, and we had watched it, but they look good here today, don't they?
They've done an excellent job of taking the ball away, and they're more physical now, and they're healthier now than they have been earlier in the year.
Johnson from the 5-yard line, cut back. Johnson to the 16-yard line. And it'll be OU's ball there with a 7-point lead, and Cale Gundy. Let's take a look at the numbers, as you would expect, because of that early first drive, Dick. Basically all Oklahoma.
All Oklahoma. You see time of possession, you know, plus almost 4 minutes. Rushing yards 81 to 18. And Nebraska comes to run. And the team doing the running is Oklahoma.
Well, speaking of coming to run, Dwayne Chandler is the fullback. Imaginative offensive sets that Brown has sent in for Oklahoma.
They're doing a lot of things to isolate some of the man-to coverage that Nebraska likes to use. They want to get the back on the linebacker if they can.
Here's Allen. Boy, he has shown a nifty step in avoiding the first tackler. The first tackler has been missing Allen all game long. Wright comes up from his strong safety position, and he was one of the most ballyhooed high school running backs to come to college football in a long time. In Oklahoma, got him to enroll there, and I think he's going to have a wonderful career at Norman.
Well, you talk about ballyhooed. He was a USA Today All-American. Brent, he scored 95 touchdowns in high school.
Yeah, that's something. Huh?
That's more than you scored.
with my video game. Now it's second down. Sending the motion man out of the eye, and here comes Allen. Well, now I think the OU coaches sense, hey, we got a hot running back. Let's saddle him up and see what we've got here.
Well, they have been pretty balanced, though. You know, they have run the ball more than they have passed, but they've passed the ball so much more efficiently, throwing 60% or better this year in completion, which will be a new school record.
But moving against this wind in this quarter, you're going to be better off if you keep the ball on the ground.
The type of throws they have in the offense, though, they throw a lot of short stuff, checkdowns, delays, and screens. You can still throw that stuff, but getting it downfield is tough.
This is Allen, who is shaken up, unfortunately, Dick. Let's take a look at it now. Number 25.
Looks like he might have got popped there on the thigh. He's walking off on under us. Now he's jogging off, so he's okay. Well, just a freshman, a true freshman, not a redshirt freshman.
44 yards. Good to see that he appears to be fine over there on the sideline. 1st and 10 already. Nebraska, in case you just joined us, lost their All-American defensive end linebacker, Herb Alberts, the defensive player of the year in the Big 8. Went out with a dislocated elbow injury. Dwayne Chandler is the lone running back, the fullback set here. And Gerald Moore, another freshman, checks in, and he's here on the wing on the left side. That's Moore. And he goes in motion, fake toss to him, and Gundy buys time rolling here. And there's that short pass you talked about to the 33-yard line.
Tyrone Williams, number 8, had a chance to decapitate the receiver that time, but didn't hit him square. But the receiver looking back for the ball on that waggle action. He came up there, didn't make the hit he should have made. He could have jarred the ball loose. Action going to go to the right of your screen. See, you're going to fake it there. Now they're going to keep the ball and come back to the left. Freezes people, freezes the linebacker. Big hole to catch a ball. You'll see what I mean. True freshman Tyrone Williams didn't want enough for that guy. He's ducked his helmet.
Chandler, fullback, who was the receiver that time for 8 yards, leaving OU with a 2nd and 2. Gundy will use him on a delay, and it's 1st down. Oklahoma at the 39-yard line before David Noonan bring him down. There's a familiar name to Cornhusker fans.
Just trying to run those draw plays. You need good blocking by your tackles. Henry Stamps, the big offensive right tackle. Watson Brown said he's their best offensive lineman, right in the center of your screen. Just a sophomore, 295 pounds. See him turn him outside, use his hands properly, hold him out there. Tough for that defensive end to fall back in when your tackle uses good pass set techniques on a draw.
And Noonan going out.
Look at those calves. I tell you, they can't afford to lose down linemen because they're already a little bit thin as it is. Now they lose 2, Trev Alberts and David Noonan. The brother of Dan Noonan.
Well, it did snow earlier this week, and there is snow along the sides of the field here, cleaned off by the crew in Lincoln. But over the last 24 hours, we've had very little moisture fall, and that's very fortunate with the temperature down as low as it is right now. You can just imagine what it's like to be hit when the wind chill factor is 15 degrees below 0 down there on the field, and you're playing on a carpet, freezing up, people falling on top of you, which is how Alberts was injured. It appeared, we don't know for sure, but when the blocker pounced back down on top of him, that's how it looked like, didn't it? 1st and 10 now for the I formation, and the hand is to Moore. Moore with a big hole. Moore bolts to the 40. Moore to the 30. Moore to the 20. Fumble! Picked up by Nebraska. Nebraska recovers it. Dante Jones scooped up the loose ball after Moore had run inside the 20-yard line.
Gerald Moore makes the longest run of his young career. He, too, is a true freshman. Makes his longest run, turns it over. Good offensive line blocking by Chuck Langston right in the middle of your screen, number 75 in front of the quarterback. Watch what a nice job he does now. See him pick up that stunt. He turns the nose tackle, walls him off, opens it up inside. Excellent running now. Burst of speed getting up there. He's shorter and a little heavier than Allen, but you can see he's very strong. Now they do a good job of stripping it. Baron Miles took it out of there.
Moss and Williams knocked the ball free, and it was Dante Jones who made the recovery. Dante Jones recovers. Moss and Williams knock it free. 1st and 10 for Nebraska. They'll come out with the I. So forcing a fumble on a run that appeared to have Oklahoma in business again. What a turnabout at the end of that play. Now Frazier bringing the option down the line, and he is smothered at the 25. Now I want you to watch in the middle of your screen, and I want you to watch here as the umpire, Bob Holliday, he's out of Des Moines. He's trying to get out of the way. There's a tackler coming in. He does screen off the defender that time on that play, and that was Toby Wright, the strong safety, who crashed into the umpire, who went sprawling. What a spot that is for an official to be an umpire. You've got to have eyes in the back of your head on something like that. Now it is Tommie Frazier and the Huskers, 2nd and 6. Here's the toss. Jones still trying to get it going, and he cannot. And Dick, it is now obvious that the Sooners defensive front really keen on number 44.
Yeah, and they're also keying on the offensive line in terms of strength. The tight end set to the top of the field. They slanted the defense toward the wide field, toward the tight end, so they were all moving in the direction of that play. They're going to have to run to the split end side, back to the short side of the field to slow down that kind of a slant.
Jones, 5 carries for 9 yards. A year ago, 137 yards. In 91, 118 yards against OU. So a difference here so far, and Frazier sprints to the left, looks down the middle, has a receiver, hits him at midfield. Trumaine Bell, the tight end.
They do such a good job with those play actions. They get you to force the run, and the safety's looking back into the backfield like that. They attack the run. All of a sudden, there's a big hole in the secondary, and there is Trumaine Bell. Now watch the action of the quarterback here as he starts one way, makes the fake here. See him make the fake, come out, the little counter action. Safety took the bite. See, you'll see Larry Bush, number 31. He's supposed to be back in that hole. No, he's up defense in the run.
A 26-yard gain moves the ball into Oklahoma territory. Frazier with Schlesinger, the fullback, in front of Jones. Schlesinger behind the left side, pounds to the 45 and 3 yards with Brent DeQuazy making the stop. And a reminder, Monday night, prime time game, the San Diego Chargers against the Indianapolis Colts. Two teams who've been disappointing so far this year. 9 p.m. Eastern time. Well, a week ago we were telling you don't miss New Orleans and San Francisco. That was a bummer. Now I'd probably say go watch a movie. This one will probably turn out to be a great game. What do I know? Chargers and Colts, 9 p.m. Eastern time on ABC. 2nd down now. Here's the hand to Jones, and there's his first big opening of the game. And Jones close to a first down with Mike Coates making the stop.
When you run inside like that, your center and guard have to do a good job, but they brought the big tackle at 6'4", 300 pounds. Watch Lance Lunsberg pull around there. See him, the big number 77. Now he's going to go up on that little linebacker. Cole Runch, he gave him lunch right there. Take a closer look at that inside line play. See the nose guard right there, Warren, number 92. Good block by Graham, the center. The tackle came through. Intense area to play football.
I love that Cole Runch over into that.
Can you imagine a guy that big, Lunsberg, coming around there and taking on that linebacker? Not that big at 5'10".
Good. So here's Calvin Jones, the junior out of Omaha Central. We get word that Noonan may be back for Coach Eisman with a sprained right ankle.
When they get in these tight formations, 2 tight ends and a tight wing, they're more dangerous passing than they are running. Short yardage, you'll probably run, but they are dangerous.
Here's Jones. First down, Nebraska. David Campbell is there along with John Anderson, the strong safety. John's been very active for that Sooner defense, number 39.
Well, Tom Hayes, the defensive coordinator, said they're going to be more active with the front and commit people, penetration, get into the running lanes, stop people from pulling and all that kind of stuff. And that's what they're doing, and it has been effective.
Now remember, this series began on a turnover after the Sooners had crashed inside the 20-yard line on Gerald Moore's 47-yard run.
What's amazing about it in the season, 12 giveaways, the defense have only given up 3 points. That is outstanding.
Here's the fullback, Schlesinger. Blevins has a very interested bystander. Dean, you've got a fella down there who knows something about this game.
That's right. Johnny Rogers, the 1971 Heisman winner from the University of Nebraska. Johnny, how you doing?
I'm doing fine, Dean. How you doing?
Well, I'm doing great, and you are back doing something special, going after a degree.
In broadcasting.
Yeah.
Broadcasting, communication, and film work.
Well, congratulations. This guy had the biggest play in the legitimate game of the century back in '71. You remember that one, huh?
Oh, yeah, we all remember that back here in Nebraska.
All right, good to see you, Johnny.
All right. I want to say hi, little Johnny. Russ and Delphi Hill.
That's what we do when we study broadcasting. Second down and 10 now as Tommie Frazier is back under pressure. Tommie steps away from it on the run, and he bounces one toward Jones. If he had kept it up and thrown it just a little bit further, running back had a nice
I know it,
play.
and you notice he scrambles so much. I am sure that the offensive coaches at Nebraska, week in and week out, teach and coach a scramble drill. When the quarterback scrambles on like that, they coach the receivers to move with them in specific areas of the field to get open. And I'm sure that's what happened when Calvin Jones found himself open on the sideline.
You know, getting back to Johnny Rogers and that great punt return that everybody remembers from that '71 game, it was Greg Pruitt who got downfield, who couldn't bring him down. Every time I see that highlight, I think about it. 2 wonderful football players.
You have an unbelievable memory.
What a game that was. Third and 10 for Schenkel has the play-by-play. Here it is. Frazier rolls away now. Over to the right-hand side. Frazier keeps it under pressure. Throws an interception at the 25-yard line. A bad throw and a bad decision by Tommie Frazier.
If you're going to throw the ball in the turf. Darius Turner, the best coverage guy, picks it off. No one open. Taking a play that he could have made a good play out of it. Really, he could have made a good play out of it.
Darius Johnson picks it off for the Sooners.
Got a crack block right there. See, out there all alone. There's a safety on him right there. He's going to try to get him. Larry Bush forcing him back there. See, they were man and blitz coverage. And as you said, Brent, Darius Johnson picked it off.
Oklahoma leading by 7. Ball at the 26-yard line. Gerald Moore still in the game. Gundy off a play fake. Throws incomplete. Warren, the intended receiver, almost made it with a diving effort.
See, trying to do the same thing on first down. They wanted to fake that option to the strong side of the field. They dive the fullback inside there. Now watch the fullback come inside and make the fake. You see Mike Anderson, 48, the linebacker. You see Stewart, 32. See him acknowledge the run fake in there. He gets back. He throws the post pattern. No free safety in the hole. He's playing run. Doesn't make the play.
Pretty good throw against the stiff breeze, Coach.
Very good throw. Very good throw. Strong arm.
15 degrees below zero. That's the wind chill factor in Lincoln. 2nd and 10. Oklahoma with a 7-point lead in the ball, and here is the handoff. Incoming around, and Gerald Moore, who was out there on the wing, is tackled by Johnny Reese.
See, that's that same Statue of Liberty type play that they ran earlier that Trev Alberts got hurt on. That big tight end, Ricky Brady, gets over. To watch Brady to the left side of your screen rather than watching the backfield action. See, he sets and shows pass. Now he's just going to try to turn that guy in and hang on to him. And if you remember, when Alberts got hurt, he fell down and Brady fell on him, and that's when the elbow got hurt.
Out of Houston. Gerald Moore and James Allen. What a luxury. Third down. Gundy. Play fake. Fires. Intercepted by Wright. Wright to the 17-yard line. And Oklahoma gives it back. The Sooners' second turnover on their last 2 series.
And the Sooners have not been turning it over. Last year they were -8. They came into this game +12, doing a great job. They turn it over. Toby Wright had 2 interceptions coming into this game. He returned them both for touchdown. Almost took his 3rd one in. There he is now to the right side of your screen. See a little action right there. He makes a pump fake, scrambles. Look at him sneak right in behind him. Doesn't go through him. Comes around in front of him. Excellent technique by the defender to come around and not pass interfere.
Now, Nebraska with a scoring opportunity here. Jones struggling against the OU defense. They've got the fullback. Tommie Frazier's been pretty well contained. Offensively, what will Nebraska think about now?
Well, I tell you this, Brent. Nebraska in the red zone gets the ball to the tight end. He's got 5 touchdowns and 11 receptions this year. That's Gerald Armstrong and Tremaine Bell. They're both in there. He'll get the ball to the tight end if they throw the ball.
First they'll try Jones, and again, nothing doing. It's been that way all game long. Mike Coates, number 41. Now a penalty flag comes down. A late penalty flag is thrown, perhaps a personal foul in the middle of that. That's what it is, and it goes against Oklahoma, and does that hurt?
He's saying he didn't mean it.
Watch right around the neck, we are told by our producer Kim Belton. When we take a look at this replay, we can see now, watch up. That's David Campbell there, number 59. And the flag was thrown right there. So the half the distance measured off, ball put down at about the 7-yard line. And it will be first down for Nebraska.
They've done a great job inside the red zone all year. You see 47 times scored, 39 touchdowns, 3 field goals. What tremendous success. And the defense has done a good job too. Oklahoma's defense has been tough to score on in the red zone. Plus they've taken the ball away in the red zone 5 times.
Nakavika in at fullback. Easy for Jones on this first down. Play fake, and they're going to throw it. And the fullback is smacked at the 4-yard line by Larry Bush, the free safety.
Boy, he really came up there and smacked him. Boy, you have to make the sharp tackles in that red zone because you can't allow him to make and advance the ball to 1 or the 2 or 3 yards. Really a nice hit by Larry Bush. You see here the little action fake. Now he comes back out, waggles it, drops it to him. Now wham! Oh! Love to see guys hit like that. I don't necessarily remember liking to get hit like that. Tell you, they didn't used to hit like that. Kids hit much harder today than they used to in the old days.
Well, they cannot get the down markers straight here. There's big confusion on the sideline, showing first down right now. And this is Tommie Frazier, who is eaten up on the roll.
Good defensive pursuit, not giving Frazier any place to turn up or to pitch to in that option. I keep looking for them to work the ball to their tight end in play action. Of course, the defense is doing the same thing. But they're tough in play action down here.
Dick, I think I was wrong prior to that, and I think it is second down now, and that last one was first down. At least the two down markers are consistent right now, and Frazier's going to walk in. Frazier, touchdown, Nebraska.
See the action that they used to run the run-pass option that started all the linebackers one way. So when he does get outside with his quickness, see, he's eliminated some of the pursuit. See that backfield action going the other way and man-to-man on the goal line? That brings fewer people to the point of attack. He gets his pads down and gets it in the end zone. See, little fake away. You see the little counter action. Now he's out there. The defense has been slowed down. He gets in the end zone.
And Bennett knots it up. Oklahoma and Nebraska dead even, ready to start again. With a bone-chilling wind chill factor of 15 degrees below zero, Tommie Frazier just a touch warmer after scoring the Cornhuskers' tying touchdown, and now Nebraska kicks it off, deadlocked with Oklahoma at 7. Ball returned from the 20, and it is the fullback Collier, and he puts it on the ground. Nebraska ball. Mike Minter recovers for the Cornhuskers.
Collier is not their kickoff return man. He's their starting fullback, so he's used to carrying the ball. It was a bad kick, short kick. He's got it in his left arm away from his body like that right there. They strip it out. It started out there right now. There it's in the air. Oh, going the other way. And they came into this ball game, the best team in the Big 8, and not turning it over. Right now they're turning it over.
And something to keep in mind about the turnovers, these are 3 consecutive turnovers, and Nebraska just made the Sooners pay for the first time this year on a touchdown after a turnover. This is Jones behind the right side to the 46-yard line, and Phil comes up to make the stop with Mario Freeman there, number 44.
Nebraska defensive team has taken the ball away 15 times. The offense have scored 12 times.
Second down. Frazier making the call at the line. Takes away from the defender. Goes for the end zone. Incomplete. Out of bounds, and it was nice coverage that time by Darius Johnson inside the 5-yard line. Abdul Muhammad, the wingman, deep inside the 5-yard line, and Johnson there.
You know, he wanted to try to throw the lookie pattern to the tight end. He looked him quick. It wasn't there. Then he went on deep against the man-to-man coverage, but the ball sailed on out of bounds.
Well, a reminder that the SEC Championship presented by Dr. Pepper next Saturday at 3:30 Eastern Time, Florida, Alabama, with the winner headed for the USF&G Sugar Bowl. That's on the line a week from tomorrow here on ABC. Inside shovel. There is that play we've been waiting for. And Jones, the ball carrier, tackled by another Jones. This one, Cedric.
It's a clever little play. I watched him on the practice field the other day running this play, and they get the man in motion to get your attention to him. See everyone looking to the right. Now he comes out on a short sprint out, and now he'll just turn around and flip it to him right there, and up the field he goes with the ball. Calvin Jones is the kind of guy that can take that kind of play and make a big one. Good defense.
Here's a 4th down for Nebraska, needing 4 yards on this play. Schlesinger is the fullback in front of Calvin Jones. Frazier bringing the option, fakes to Jones. He's short of the first down. OU ball. They survived that turnover. And a penalty flag. Hold on. A late penalty flag. The back judge. And this Nebraska crowd hoping for another personal foul here against the Sooners. But the Sooners are indicating.
Personal foul. Oklahoma. Their ball.
But they get to keep the ball. It was a dead ball foul after 4th down was stopped. So let's take a look and see if we can pick this up. They do get to keep the ball this time, and there is the foul.
Aubrey Beavers came in and hit him late. See, the play is over. Bang, the play was over. As you said, a dead ball foul, and he hit him. One of the big things kids have to learn to do, Brandon, these real tough, intense games, is to direct their emotion to help them, not hurt them. You know, and you can get so fired up, you do the stupid thing.
Yeah, Dick, when we come back, Oklahoma will have the ball at the 14-yard line. Might go for a warm Coors Light right now, but let me do this fans poll right here. There's your number, 1-800-932-3000. Can't believe who's at the top of this, folks. Notre Dame. Where are the Florida State and the Nebraska fans? That's the number to call. Here we go now. Oklahoma with the ball, and a handoff to Allen, who is returned. Big hole on the right side, and Bruce Moore, number 90, one of the black shirts here, as the Nebraska defenders are called, bringing him down after that nice run and a gain. He returns, and immediately he gives this Sooner offense a spark.
Oh, yes, and you know, he's been doing that all year, and he's been banged up just a little bit. He's only carried the ball 144 times through the year. But you know who made that play go was Terry Collier, the fullback. When you run an isolation play, meaning you put the fullback on the linebacker and the fullback wins that battle, you're doing a good job.
Oklahoma trying to avoid a turnover. They have turned it over on each of their last 3 possessions. Now the hand is to Allen, a spinning move at the 30, beautiful move, and carries a defender out of bounds, a face mask penalty. Here comes the flag. John Reese is guilty of a face mask violation.
You talk about innate running ability. This type of thing, the running back coach, Mike Jones, does not teach. Now watch this young true freshman, James Allen, attack the line of scrimmage straight ahead. Here he is. It's a little slant draw. Now watch this move right here. Watch. He sees that coming. Oh, my. You don't coach that. There's the face mask right there. Obviously not intentional, but there it is. See, he grabs a hold of him right there.
It almost looked from that one angle like Allen had reached back on his face mask.
Was that a nice move?
That's a big-time move.
I want to coach running backs at Oklahoma from now on. That guy, I think I could teach him that move.
He's already rushed 8 times for 71 yards after that 15-yard gain. Now the ball is put down at the 46-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Sooners. Here's the pitch to Allen. And Allen across midfield before Lorenzo Brinkley brings him down. All right, Dean, how cold is it down there?
Well, pictures can tell you, I think. This is what both teams are wearing, these little hoods, along with several other devices. Brent, they have the hand warmers they're using for their hands and in their shoes. They have some insulated socks. They have toboggans. They have some thermal upper body equipment and also lower body, and the gloves, trying to stay warm. Very difficult.
It is brutal here, folks. 15 below the wind chill factor right now, and not getting any warmer. Now Gundy hands it into Allen, who steps there, and that is a big-time young man right there. Brinkley bringing him down, but he had stepped for the 1st down. Going to be real close down there.
Earlier I made the point about when you run an isolation play, regardless if it's long yardage or short yardage, you need the block of the fullback. Now watch the fullback in the middle of your screen as he leads on the linebacker. Now see him slide right. Now watch this. Bang, right there. See what a nice job he did? The running back gets up and makes the 1st down. The running back gets the credit. The fullback takes the punishment.
Allen now with 81 yards in 10 carries. Nebraska and Oklahoma tied at 7.
See, that big Ricky Brady split out, and they really were concerned about this kind of formation. He's such a big target out there.
Gundy fires back to the left side, and that time Tyrone Williams just eats up the receiver, Jawan Penny.
Joe Carollo, 68, was trying to get out there to get the kick-out block. See, they faked the screen one way, came back to the left. Carollo just couldn't quite get there.
And a Yard loss on that tackle by Williams, who's a sophomore cornerback coming up to defend that play. North Carolina. Hey, what a big win that was for the University of Massachusetts basketball team. Nice to see that school gave up bowling and concentrated on basketball for a while. Second down.
You're going to take some heat after that statement.
Gundy under pressure and sacked at the 49-yard line. Dwayne Harris.
He is a designated pass rusher. He came into the game with 5 sacks, 10 quarterback hurries. He's the quick guy at 6'2", 215. See, he can't play on rundowns, but he can rush the passer, and they do a great job, as you can see by this graphic. 4 per game. That's outstanding, rushing the passer.
Timeout. Oklahoma will discuss it because they figure to get the ball back before halftime. At halftime, John Saunders will have scores and highlights from the action earlier today. He'll preview tomorrow's showdown in Gainesville, Florida State in Florida. Penn State also playing in the Big Ten against Michigan State. And a wonderful story, triumph over tragedy, the Warwick Dunn story, coming up at halftime here on ABC. Oklahoma and Nebraska are deadlocked. 1:18 to go. Gundy, the fullback, could not keep Dwayne Harris down. He got it knocked down, got back up, and made the sack again.
He really got a jump on the snap, too, Brent. He was moving on the snap. Tough to get a guy. That's his 2nd sack in a row. He's fired up, he's enthused, and he's playing with a little extra energy right now. Really got off the top of your screen, left-hand side. You'll see a big flash coming up. There he is. See him coming up outside there? Fullback tries to cut block him. See him right there? If you cut block a pass rusher, he better go to the ground. This guy's a good athlete. He didn't go to the ground.
2 consecutive sacks, 13 yards lost. 1 yard was lost on the completed pass on the previous play.
Brent, I never taught cut blocking. I did not like cut blocking because the good athletes hurdle the cut block or run right through the cut block. The linebacker coach.
4th down, and Oklahoma will punt it away here with a minute to go in the first half. Blanton with Moss and Dixon back for the Cornhuskers.
Low.
The high hop, it's Moss from the 15. Moss will go down at about the 23-yard line. Final seconds, final 30 seconds here of the first half.
Well, you know something? I believe that Nebraska's got to be real pleased right now. 7-7 situation. If you lost your best defensive football player, maybe the best defensive player in the conference and one of the best in the country, he's on the bench, and you're playing even football.
Well, Oklahoma turned it over 3 times. Big number from the first half here. Because on the 1 turnover, they might have scored a touchdown or a field goal. Who knows? They got the ball down inside the long run. They fumbled it after Moore's long run. Misses Jones. Jones to the 30.
I gave one fullback credit. I've got to give the other fullback credit. Corey Schlesinger, number 40, came in there, and he put his pads to the linebacker. Man, and his hobby is demolition derby driving, so he's a demolition guy on the field. Wham, did he smack him.
Final 20 seconds.
There he is.
Of the opening half here with unbeaten Nebraska, twice beaten Oklahoma. Remember, this is a team that scored 44 points on Texas A&M down in Norman. Penalty flag is down on this play. It is incomplete, but there is a penalty flag back at the 26-yard line. No time showing on the clock right now, but let's see who this penalty is against, because the half cannot end on a defensive penalty, so it's against the offense. They decline it. The first half is over. So it has come to an end with Nebraska and Oklahoma tied at 7. A lot going on this weekend. Right now, let's send you to our warm and toasty New York studios. And John Saunders. John, take it away.
Warm indeed, Brent, and welcome to the Prudential Halftime Report. Coming up, we will have scores and highlights. Plus, we'll look at Warwick Dunn, the running back for Florida State, and his special relationship with a couple of quarterbacks.
We are back here at halftime. Oklahoma and Nebraska are tied at 7. Bone-chilling Temperature here about 15 below with the wind chill. And Dick Vermeil, we've had an unbelievable sequence of events here. Let's start with the injury to the All-American linebacker, Trev Alberts of Nebraska.
Well, they ran that Statue of Liberty play back around a delay block by the tight end. The tight end fell on him on the top of your screen right here. Ricky Brady, number 86. He hit his wrist right there. Then the body came down on top of him, dislocated the elbow. You know, it's amazing they're playing as well without their best player and best leader.
You know, it was 4th and 1 when Oklahoma went to the fullback for their touchdown.
Big Chandler just powered it in. He's the guy they give it to all the time down there. Boy, it was close, but he only needed a couple inches.
You know, a key moment of this game occurred when Gerald Moore broke free for the Sooners and then turned it over.
You know, they didn't get anything out of this play, but it stopped them from going on in. That gave them momentum, you would think. Anyway, a long run like that. Nebraska didn't come back and score after that turnover. It was after the next one. But break a long run like that and then turn it over, that's a waste of effort.
Here's the Cornhuskers touchdown. Tommie Frazier, the option quarterback, bringing it down to the right side, and he takes it in for Nebraska's lone score here in the first half. And Dick, let's take a look at the numbers now for the first half.
Well, you can see it's been all Oklahoma, you know, dominating the football game. 200 yards to 78 and 176 yards rushing. Actually, if the quarterback hurt his arm and couldn't throw in the second half, they might have a better chance because no one's throwing the ball real well. The defensive team that can stop the run, that team will win the ball game.
The second half is coming up. Unbeaten Nebraska and Oklahoma. A heat wave is sweeping across the Great Plains. The sun peeking through, and now it's only 1 below on the wind chill factor. We could have a balmy second half here. Oklahoma and Nebraska. Dean Blevins of what went on in the 2 locker rooms.
It wasn't balmy, and it isn't balmy down here, Fred. You're a little warmer up there than we are down here. Nebraska feels that Oklahoma was very physical defensively up front and really slowed them down. They're making a couple of changes there. As for the Sooners, they said avoid the turnovers, and they want to protect for Cale Gundy. They must throw the ball better here in the second half.
Do you think they... I think they just ought to let the kids run. Just let them run. I really do. You know, when you run for 170-something yards in the first half against the #1 rush defense in the Big 8, you ought to keep running.
Well, Scott Blanton will kick it off for the Sooners in their white jerseys, and Corey Dixon and Damon Benning back deep for the Cornhuskers. Benning, number 21, on the left. Drills it into the end zone. Dixon downs it there, and it'll come out on the 20-yard line. 1st and 10 for Osborne's Cornhuskers here with Tommie Frazier, their sophomore quarterback, number 15, bringing it out. Here are the possessions. They punted 3 consecutive times, then the interception, finally the touchdown, gave it up on downs, and hit the half. The critical statistical difference in the first half, 3 turnovers by the Sooners and only 1 for the Cornhuskers. Calvin Jones, who has been the big playman of the last 2 OU games as far as Nebraska is concerned, deep as the lone running back. Gets the first call, left side, sprints to the 27-yard line on 1st down, and Mario Freeman brings him down, number 44.
Nice reach block by Lance Lundberg, the offensive left tackle, number 77. He reached out there and he hooked Cedric Jones. Now you'll see this to the right side of your screen. You'll see the big offensive tackle to the right side of the screen in red. Now watch him jump out there. See, and he hooked him. See him hook him. They just sealed the whole defense off right there and created that lane for Jones to run up inside.
Lundberg, Zedeska, Graham, Malin, and Wiegert get down on that offensive line. Here's Jones in the middle. Jones, 1st down, Nebraska on his 2nd carry of the second half. Talk to me about the Nebraska offensive line. Football fans are always familiar with the big fellas that they've got on that offensive line. How about this year's addition?
Well, Lance Lundberg, the big left tackle that we just mentioned, he's 6'4", 300. Zadeska, 6'5", 300. Aaron Graham, the little guy at 285. Kenny Malin, he's a run at 275. And then we get back up to the 300-pounder Wiegert at the right tackle.
They eat well here, folks. Here's the toss now to Jones behind the left side. And Coates coming across, made a nice stop. Number 41 makes a hit.
Boy, you call that a nice stop, Brent. That I mean, I don't know if that does it justice. Watch the linebacker right side of your screen, number 41, attack this from the inside out and see him scraping off in there. Now look at this. Through the blocker, right through the blocker, annihilates him, and makes the play. Beautiful play.
Great stop.
Great. I like that better. I got to get you on that defensive side.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Schlesinger, the fullback, Frazier brings the end around. Dixon sprinting to the right. Dixon's cut off. Penalty flag comes down on the play, and Dixon crosses midfield, but there is a penalty flag thrown back at the 28-yard line.
I think they're going to call a block from behind on the big tackle, Wiegert, who was using a peel-back block.
This one's coming back. Just because of that, Dick.
Right in the center of your screen. See, the ball started away. They pitched it. It was a reverse coming back to this side. You'll see Wiegert, number 72. There's the tight end. I don't know if they called it on him right there. That's Armstrong. There was another one right to the side of your screen right there. And Wiegert thought it was on him because he went right to the official and started complaining.
So instead of marching into Oklahoma territory, the ball now being brought back down inside the Cornhuskers 20-yard line to the 18, where it is spotted.
Tom Osborne is very active in running the offense. Frank Solich is the coordinator now and assistant head coach, but Tom is deeply involved in running his own offense and really enjoys coaching. I asked him the other day, when are you going to get out? And he says, I don't know. He said, but when it's not any fun any longer. But he says the national media is making it a little bit tough. It's hard. You know, I find myself justifying winning 10 games.
Second and 25 as a result of the penalty here for the Cornhuskers. And it's Jones. Slips one tackler and goes down at the 21-yard line. John Anderson, the strong safety, who has played well for the Sooners here this afternoon in Lincoln. Some great games between these two schools through the years. Some memorable moments. Who will ever forget the fumble Ruski that Osborne came up with for Nebraska? Then how about the tight end, Keith Jackson, breaking free for the Sooners that time? You know, what great hospitality. We've had someone bring us chicken soup a couple of times here for the Cornhuskers. That was Douglas Ricks bringing it up.
Chicken soup, hot dogs, best we've ever been treated.
Oh, it's unbelievable. Now,
I wonder if they're going into Blevins down there.
They're down off a play fake and not buying it. There he is. Mr. Beavers, number 56. They left that one to Beavers, and he got the job done.
Very good pass rush, pressure right there. They see him right there in a three-point stance right in the middle of your screen, number 56. They're going to pick him up with a fullback, Schlesinger, and he doesn't take him on. Good, quick move to the outside. Schlesinger expected a power rush. He didn't get it. He jumped around to the outside. Nice job.
9-yard loss. Aubrey Beavers, interesting story. He was a Prop 48 youngster, and then there was some difficulty as far as the NCAA was concerned. He actually missed 2 entire seasons. And yet he's one of the better all-around linebackers in college football. And Nebraska punting out of the end zone. Oklahoma going to wind up with excellent field position. This ball is out of bounds at the Nebraska 43-yard line. And now a chance for Cale Gundy and the Sooner attack. Here are the Sooners' possession. Touchdown on the opening series. 13-play drive. Then they punted a couple of times, and then they started turning it over. 3 turnovers in all, 1 on a kickoff, and now an excellent scoring opportunity here.
6.9 average per first down. That's a great production on first down.
Now here's the hand, and Moore makes that side step. Moore to the 33-yard line. Toby Wright and John Reese are there defensively, and very close to a first down.
And again, running over there that time where Trev Alberts would have been. Now, Keneally, number 99, the big defensive nose guard in there, had a chance to make the play, but not quite the mobility to reach back in there and snatch him in the backfield. There he is, right there in the middle of your screen. I think, Brent, defensively, you could commit more people to the run in this situation. Go to your 8-man front package, blitz them a little bit more, defy the person to beat you throwing the football.
So 2nd and inches for the Sooners. I can't find an empty seat in this house. It is amazing in this weather.
There's no such thing as a no-show in Lincoln, Nebraska.
2nd down and inches. Bundled up, keeping warm. Moore sprints from the wing back, the fullback with a big hole in the middle. Terry Collier checked out this Chandler, and Toby Wright brings down Dwayne Chandler, the sophomore.
when you run that well directly at people inside, the center has to do a good job with the nose guard. Chuck Langston, number 75, you'll see this. He'll be right there in front of your, see the nose guard is offset to his right shoulder, and he does a good job of keeping him there. See him reach him, knock him back like that. There comes the hole. Good cross block there by the backside tackle. Puts him into the secondary.
Oklahoma rushing for 200 yards today. Well, you'd want to keep it on the ground now, wouldn't you, going in? Movement there, left side of the line.
Big Joe.
5 yards.
Big Joe Carollo, the offensive left guard, made a move.
Did you know his pops?
No, I didn't. You know, I went to the Los Angeles Rams as an assistant in 1969, and they traded him.
False start. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat the first down.
He had been there 12 years, and they traded him, I think, in the Bob Brown trade. Philadelphia Eagles at that time.
You know, let's go down to Dean Blevins. He's with Trev Alberts, who was injured in the first half. Dean?
Trev, I know you're extremely disappointed out of your maybe your biggest game of your career. How do you feel?
It's certainly disappointing, you know, my senior year and one of the biggest games of my life, but it's part of football, you know, you can't avoid it, and I'm just glad it wasn't a knee or something like that. It's just an elbow, and I'll be back in about 4 weeks.
Stay with us. We have another question in a second.
On 1st and 15, Moore gets back 6 of it. Okay, Dean?
Trev, what does Nebraska need to do defensively? Oklahoma has run the ball very effectively.
They just need to, got too many mental mistakes. I heard in halftime that we're just making some mental mistakes. Just play harder. I mean, I'm not too worried about it. This team will find a way to win. We've done it all year, and we'll do it again today.
Fabulous career. Congratulations. Sorry about the injury.
That's okay. Thanks a lot.
Back up top.
So there's Trev Alberts. Unanimous choice as the defensive player of the year of the Big 8. Unable to play, and hopefully he'll be ready New Year's night down in the Orange Bowl.
Brent, Oklahoma's come out with an unbalanced line set, and now they're running back to the short side of the formation right here with the option. Good defense. They're trying to get Nebraska to move to the strong side and run to the weak side.
Tyrone Williams coming in on Moore.
You'll see what I'm talking about here. You'll see the 3 white jerseys, white uniforms to the right. Now there's 2 more people outside them, unbalancing the offense to the right, trying to get the defense to move over. They run back to the weak side. They're outnumbered. Good defense. Sometimes you outsmart yourself.
Here's 3rd and 14 for the Sooners. Into the middle, incomplete, and now it is going to be time for field goal specialist Scott Blanton with a penalty flag, however, coming down on the play. So let's hold on a moment.
They tried a middle screen, Brent. He threw it awfully hard right into the crowd. I didn't see any receiver really make a great attempt to try to catch it.
Penalty is against Oklahoma. Wonder if he didn't hit a lineman with his pass that time.
Must have, but there was a running back coming in there for the middle screen.
Our officiating crew, the referee John Laurie from Springfield, Missouri.
Illegal touching offense. 5-yard penalty.
Here's take a look at it. You see Anderson in the middle of your screen there. No, there's the running back right there. 32, that's Dwayne Chandler.
But a ball, I think, hit Chuck Langston, 75. I think the running back slid through, Dick. On that angle, you couldn't see exactly where the ball struck, but I think it was Langston that it made impact with. So at any rate, here comes Scott Blanton now for the Sooners, and the ball is going to be put down at the 34, so this is going to be a 44-yard field goal effort into this breeze.
He's 62% on his career from that distance, but boy, cold and into the wind. Of course, the wind is swirling around, Brent. Up here, it looks like it's to his back.
Timeout has been called by Nebraska.
Back for home.
We come back, Scott Blanton will be dealing with the wind here in Lincoln. Staying warm, that's the key part of this game. Right now, Oklahoma with Scott Blanton to attempt a field goal. And at the conclusion of the game, we'll select a Chevrolet Player of the Game for the 23rd year through the Chevrolet Scholarship Program, $1,000 donated to the General Scholarship Fund of both schools. Could be a field goal kicker on this day. Hooking to the left, no good. Oklahoma had a 1st and 10 at the 18-yard line on this drive, and they come away with no points.
You know, the conditions for kicking field goals aren't real good right now, Brent. When you get a bad snap, that was a low snap. It hit the turf, tough for the holder to get it down properly. It breaks that 1.2-second rhythm, tough to hit it accurately. You see what I'm talking about here? Now watch the snap. See it bounce once, then he picks it up. Alford picked it up and got it back down, but that breaks the rhythm. Very few kickers can kick it accurately after that kind of a miscue.
The Cornhuskers with a 1st down at their own 27. The toss to Calvin Jones. Jones to the 31-yard line with Dave Fiala in at fullback leading the way.
You know, I talked to Calvin Jones, and he told me of all the offense that they run, and they run an awful lot of offense at Nebraska. What he likes best is the play you just saw, where you're tossing the ball deep and let him run off tackle, either bounce inside or outside or cut her back. He likes that kind of football play.
Matt Shaw checks in. Nebraska lines up with 2 tight ends.
They love play action out of this kind of a formation.
Frazier, high, incomplete. Intended for Bell and way overthrown with that pass.
Yeah, it's tough. It is tough to throw the ball accurately when you're that cold. Look at him. He said, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. But they get you in those 2 tight ends, think and run. Your safety's getting in support position and that kind of to get up there and stop the run. And then they come with play action, and it really fouls you up.
3 wide receivers here on 3rd and 6. Muhammad's the motion receiver. All to the left. Frazier rolls in that direction. Bounces one intended for Muhammad. It's 3 and out.
Good defensive call by Tom Hayes. He brought the linebackers. See, he brought them coming. There's Aubrey Breevers right there. Now, a linebacker cannot make a sack or put pressure on the quarterback unless the defensive coach calls him to do it. Good call.
Nebraska punting, and Bennett drops back into punt formation. Johnson set to return for the Sooners.
They've done a great job all year of covering punts, Brent. They lead the Big 8 in net punt.
Good catch, Johnson at the 24-yard line. Here it is in Lincoln, Nebraska. That'll keep you warm. 7-7.
That's Dean Blevins, isn't it?
CFA College Football on ABC, brought to you by Chevrolet Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road, and Domino's Pizza, where you can get our new crunchy, thin-crust pizza, and always something for nothing. Oklahoma's ball. Sooners and Cornhuskers tied at 7. Coming out from the Oklahoma 24-yard line. Senior quarterback Cale Gundy, his last Big 8 game, changing up the play at the line of scrimmage, and with the crowd noise causing difficulty, he went down the line. James Allen is his tailback in this series. It'll be the toss to Allen, cuts back to the right side, picks up a block, and it's illegal. A penalty flag comes down on the illegal block. Troy Dumas cut down on the play. We'll take a look at it right here.
They ran the pitch reverse. It's been a good play for him all year. See, they pitch it to him, and he had started to his left, and he reverse pivots, and right there to the right side of your screen, there's the illegal block right there. See him got the clip and below the waist down there, down he goes.
That could be a dangerous block, too.
Very
dangerous.
Dangerous.
One why that's outlawed.
Very
because you
dangerous.
could cut somebody from behind down there and blow a knee out or an inch or an ankle. So there's absolutely no question about that one and why it's in the rule book, as the ball now is being brought back close to the 10-yard line for the Sooners. And one of the things that Tom Osborne and his staff now have to be aware of, if they can stop the Sooners, putting some pressure on the punt down here. They were extremely successful in a close game against Oklahoma State on a Thursday night. We're going to get an opportunity to show you what I consider one of the finest punt blocks in the history of college football. This is a moment, if they can seal them up, where they may come after him again. They've had penetration, but first things first. It is first down. Here's the fullback, and he gets to the 15-yard line, and Dwayne Harris, who has jumped in there with Trev Alberts out, Dick. Harris making some big stops for him.
He has, and he hasn't played regularly all year because he's more of a pass rush guy, but like they play him out there wide enough, he doesn't get on the shoulder of those tackles. He can handle it. But right now, Charlie McBride, the defensive coordinator, has got out of the defense where he had a defensive tackle on the center's nose. That time they were in an even defense, both tackles on the guards, and they had a linebacker up in there trying to stop those cutbacks up inside.
Need 20 yards. Second down and 20. Huskers press at the line, and the fullback for 3 yards. Now it's the third down play. Billy Wade was there defensively on Dwayne Chandler.
You'll see what I'm talking about in this defense. Here's the same alignment. A while ago we showed you a cutback run off the center's block. Now they have a linebacker stacked right on the center's nose and 2 defensive tackles. You'll see number 48 there right in front of the quarterback. He'll stunt, see? But they almost stunted right out of the play. Fortunately, the defense reacted properly and took it away. But they're trying to prevent that one-on-one block with the center on the nose guard with that defense.
A huge third down, just for Oklahoma to pick up some yards and get better field position here. This is 3rd and 17 now. Gundy is going to pull out. Gundy down. Goes long, has an open receiver, incomplete. Now I want to take you back to that night against Oklahoma State. This was the moment that turned around the key game for the Cornhuskers. I want you to watch this block punt. He swallowed it. Baron Miles for the touchdown. And now the Cornhuskers will line up and see what they can do here against the Sooners on this 4th down of a defensive struggle. 6 minutes to go now, and the Cornhuskers have had penetration earlier today.
Brent, in all my years, I never saw a block punt like that.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. They
bobble return. The 4, he kicks it. Wonderful reaction by the punter. What a play by Scott Blanton. He had picked up the ball. How many punters have you seen panic in that situation? And he did not. He simply pulled the trigger. You see guys in the NFL not come up with that play.
Tremendous.
That could be a game saver right there.
Tremendous, tremendous poise. Oh, the ball's on the turf. The ball's on the turf. He picks it up off the turf. He uses a soccer-style move. Now watch the snap. See, he drops the snap right there. It's on the turf. Now watch him sidewind to kick this thing. What a good job by an athlete under pressure.
And Chris Gardocki did do one right in the NFL for the Bears yesterday. That was a 44-yard punt. Now it's Tommie Frazier. Big alley on the left side. Frazier, 40-yard line. Plus one before Aubrey Beavers can bring down the Nebraska quarterback. His biggest run of the day, 21 yards.
See, he does that to come out to pass the football, Brent, but when a guy with that kind of mobility and the weather conditions like this, you get him out on the corner, he makes the fake, he freezes him inside, he comes out there, he hits that crack with speed, they can't close it. Now watch him accelerate. See, he sees that, heck with it, I'm going to be the runner, and the white jerseys can't pursue quick enough to get there. He's quicker than the pursuit.
Frazier and the Cornhuskers at the Oklahoma 40. We're tied in Lincoln at 7 on a nasty, miserable day. Jones, no gain on the play, bottled up. And you know who's pulling hard for the Cornhuskers right now? The Orange Bowl committee. This was how they want to maintain their #1 draft choice in the coalition. A loss here, Nebraska tumbles in the ratings, and they won't have their dream matchup right now because Nebraska, for the first time in several years, has already wrapped up a trip to Miami, the Orange Bowl, 3rd straight trip. Doesn't matter what happens here, but the draft order, the rotation of the teams and how they're selected out of the coalition, that depends on it. Now 2nd and 9. Nebraska in the I formation. Fake to the I back. Frazier is bottled up by Beavers, and he will not get away from him at the 45-yard line.
They started action away. They thought they could sucker Aubrey Beavers to come down underneath flat and then get outside him. Good discipline by Aubrey. Now watch him, see, he's right there to the right side of your screen. They start the action away from him. Watch him under control. See his feet are apart. Good base. See, he knows what kind of an athlete he's defensing. Good job by Aubrey Beavers.
Muhammad and Dixon go off to the left. There are 4 wide receivers, and Nebraska gives the shotgun look here on this formation. Frazier circles Jones out. Everybody downfield. Incomplete. Overthrew Dixon. Incomplete is the call. Dixon looking for a flag, and nothing doing as Darius Johnson, who has covered him several times very well, had him blanketed again.
Tom Hayes told me that Darius Johnson is the best cover man they have. He's only a sophomore out of Terrell, Texas, and he's also an official. Look at that. He's giving the signals. Hey. Good football player. When you can cover one-on-one against the guy that can fly and be that tight to him as a sophomore, you're doing a nice job.
And Nebraska forced to punt it away here. Byron Bennett and Johnson back to return.
Nebraska is gaining the edge in field position. If they can continue to do a good job of gaining field position through net punt, let's see what they do here. Maybe a little too, no, it's all right. Not going to be too far.
Fair catch at the 15-yard line. Darius Johnson not letting that ball bounce down inside the 10-yard line and down. So Gundy and the Sooners will have a first down on their own 15. The other number 1, the Seminoles of Florida State, tomorrow in Gainesville against Florida. 12 noon. Some of you in the Big Ten area will see Penn State against Michigan State. And then, of course, the Skins game from the Bighorn Golf Club. Arnold Palmer. See if you can beat the youngsters in that at 3:30 Eastern time tomorrow here on ABC. So there's an idea of how the 2 quarterbacks have fared. Neither very well throwing the ball in this wind that has swept across the plain here in Nebraska. Gerald Moore and Terry Collier now in the backfield. And penalty flag comes flying. Moore steps to the 20-yard line, and the penalty flag thrown by the linesman.
Dead ball. False start offense. 5-yard penalty.
You're already in the hole. You don't want to push yourself any further back.
Dean, what's up?
Well, guys, Nebraska is frustrated offensively. Their linemen are coming off saying, come on, guys, let's get our act together. They're getting chance after chance. They're going to hope that they can get the ball back tied up heading into the 4th, because that's when they will have the wind. The wind is picking up, and it's a big factor.
So 1st and 15 for the Sooners after the penalty. The Huskers defensive players are urging the crowd to get into this and make it difficult for the offense.
I'd recommend they concentrate on the guy they're lined up on. Blitz.
And in on top of him was Mike Anderson. He almost beat the snap.
He close to being offside. Really close. You talk about rhythm. Now, when that happens, many times the offensive team is getting in rhythm with their cadence, and they're not changing the cadence. Look, now watch right to the goalpost. Wham! Oh, didn't have a chance. No way can a running back pick that up. Really tough. See, the fullback was supposed to go up and pick him up, but too quick. Could not get to it.
3-yard loss as Anderson takes Gundy down, leaving Oklahoma with a 2nd and 18 back here in the danger zone. 3:18 to go in the 3rd. Oklahoma and Nebraska tied at 7. That's Moore swinging around. The fullback about a yard, and Anderson again.
He's hot. He's hot. Run away from him. He's that inside linebacker, senior from Grand Island, Nebraska. He'll graduate in December with a degree in criminal justice.
When they switched the defense to the 4-3 this year, Anderson lines up as a middle linebacker. 2 years ago in that 3-4, he had a huge day here against Oklahoma in Nebraska's comeback victory. Now here is Anderson leading the way, the senior middle linebacker. And on 3rd down to the 10, And a stop that time by Kevin Raymakers.
See, that time what Charlie McBride did with his defensive call is he lined him up right in there as if he's going to blitz. Then he didn't blitz. They stunted it around there. It's keeping you off balance with defensive signals.
Well, Nebraska unbeaten and untied, and there is another one in college football. West Virginia with a big game against Boston College. And Oklahoma, another bad snap. And again, Blanton with great hands punts to Dixon, and Dixon is swarmed at the 38. It's been a long time since I've seen a better pair of hands on a punter than Scott Blanton. Fortunately, artificial turf.
Plus, he's a shortstop on the baseball team.
Oh,
so that explains it right there. He is. He only batted .250, but he's a good glove man. Look at this. Right up, one up. Just like his baseball coach would teach him to do. But poise under pressure, this young man has it.
Twice in a row he saves Oklahoma. Now it's Nebraska. Can they do anything with this field position? A first down at the 38-yard line. Here's the hand. Jones for a yard. Tackled by David Campbell.
David Campbell did a good job of working off the block of Rob Zadeska that time, and he was going for the hook, and he was widening, and he just maintained good control, Brent, so he could come back when that running back cut back. It's a good job by David Campbell.
Second down and 9 for Nebraska. Final minute 10 of the third quarter.
I think what you do now, Brent, is you start including some run blitzes. Throw them for the loss.
Wide receivers out to Frazier's left. Comes back and he wants to set the screen, and he overthrew Jones that time and took a hit in the process. Paul Oates sent him down, and a reminder of our prime time schedule coming up tomorrow night. The biggest names in American music get together. It's the 20th anniversary of the American Music Awards. Madonna will be there, Clint Black, James Brown, Whitney Houston, Garth Brooks. Kenny Rogers is the host. Where would you like to see Madonna and Garth Brooks together on the same stage? Followed by the Commish tomorrow on ABC. That's a big night for ABC. Looks a little bit like Maryland, Coach. Third down and 9. Frazier, pop pass complete to Muhammad. Muhammad struggling to the 25, and a Nebraska first down.
The Southern California athlete out of Compton, California makes the catch, but it wasn't easy. He bobbled it and popped it around a little bit. Has excellent hands, but you see tight one-on-one coverage. He works off it right now, gives him a little shake and break. He takes Johnson, number 42, up, then he pushes him a little bit, comes back underneath him to make the play.
I wonder if that bullet that he's carrying around gets a little cold on days like this when he goes down. Now as a receiver. Now first and 10. Here's the hand now to Jones. Jones to the 26-yard line, and Freeman.
You know, actually the play was blocked. If the running back would have taken it up underneath, taken it up inside, I think he had a shot. You know that, Brent? Tried to go outside the trap block. Tough to do.
Second down at 11. There's the final seconds ticking away here in the third quarter. West Virginia kicks a field goal to take a lead on Boston College. And here, unbeaten Nebraska tied with Oklahoma at 7. $195 consecutive sellouts here at Memorial Stadium. Not an empty seat in the house. We start the final 15 minutes. Nebraska unbeaten, untied, heading for the Orange Bowl. Oklahoma will be bowl bound. They don't know where yet. First down for the Cornhuskers. Another second down and 11. And here is Frazier keeping it. Frazier blasting to the 16-yard line, short of the first down, and Mike Coates, who has been all over the field defensively for the Sooners.
No run-pass option on that. That's run all the way. Tight wing formation, strength to the short side of the field to give him a lot of room to the wide side. Now you'll see the fullback in the middle of your screen. Here he is. He tries to cut him down right here and actually tries to tackle him. Actually does a pretty good job of tackling. That's not legal. Aaron Graham was out there in front. just good quickness and speed.
3rd and 1. And timeout. Tommie Frazier, seeing the 25-second clock rundown, calls a timeout. Dick, here are the numbers after 3.
Well, as you look at the numbers, it's all Oklahoma. Total yards, look at the passing yards. Neither team throwing well, doubling the rushing yards, but the turnover factor. -2 in the turnover. That's what kept it 7-7.
And Nebraska down to only 1 timeout after calling its second, with Frazier rolling on 3rd and 1. Frazier for the first down to the 12-yard line.
David Fila, counteraction to the tailback going away. They bring Dave Fila, fullback. Same play they ran a few minutes ago going left. This time they get in a different formation and run the same play going right.
They go back on that timeout story. They used 1 timeout when they had 12 men on the field on an Oklahoma field goal attempt. Now they use their second. But if they can get ahead and stay ahead, it won't matter, will it? Here is Frazier, busts for the first down. So Osborne and the Cornhuskers with a timeout now being called by Oklahoma. So they are left with 2. And the Cornhuskers with 1.
In a game like this, 7-7, and no one doing a great job offensively, Brent, and you're down here, you're in field goal position. Yes, it's tough to kick field goals, but it's in pretty close right now. Offensively, you have to think about plays with very little risk. Plays that you don't take a sack on, or the ball leaves the line of scrimmage a long ways. Plays where you attack the line of scrimmage, or if you do throw the ball, it's those real sharp little quick things to the flat with it after play action like that. But careful throwing it over the middle.
Well, tomorrow, Florida State, Florida. That's at 12 noon here on ABC. And those of you in the Big Ten area will see Penn State, Michigan State. Speaking of the Big Ten, well, let me first remind you about the Skins game at the Bighorn Golf Club over the weekend. Payne Stewart, Freddie Couples, Paul Azinger, and Arnold Palmer stepping in there at 3:30 Eastern Time. Now the Big Ten. How about the fact that they will decide their championship in Tokyo next week?
Also,
Wisconsin will be going over there to play Michigan State.
audible. They have in the past gone 30% of the plays on the line of scrimmage. They weren't going to do that today.
Jones, a yard.
Good defense by Mike Coates. He stepped up there, met the fullback in the hole. The defensive line held their own. There was no place to cut. Nice job of defense as a linebacker, inside linebacker by Mike Coates. He really took that on. That's the second or third real good play. Look at, he's pleased with himself. He knows he did a good job.
Shake it up on the play. Row U. Been a tough day in these conditions, and cold, frozen, artificial turf. I think artificial turf must be harder.
Oh, it
to get
is.
hit on a day when you land on it.
The rubber padding gets harder underneath, and it was. I was out on the turf here yesterday, and you know the offensive line for Nebraska was out on the field here for 25-minute light practice in t-shirts and shorts, laughing about how cold it was. Can you believe that? I mean, it was just as cold yesterday. They were showing off, I know, but man, it was cold.
There's Mario Freeman, who's played well defensively, out of Austin, Texas, coming over to the sideline, and Broderick Simpson replaces him in the Sooner defensive lineup.
He has played awfully well inside there. They haven't dented him inside at all. Hope it's not serious. Not likely to be a cramp.
Not in the conditions here today in Lincoln. 13:30 to go. Dixon sprints in motion, and Frazier off a play fake throws incomplete. His tight end
Gerald Armstrong circling back, number 95, fine receiving senior tight end for the Cornhuskers.
He equaled an NCAA record last year, Brent, in catching 6 touchdown passes in a row. That's hard to do. Plays today, 51 plays, 133 yards. That's way below their average. They came into this game today averaging 304 yards a game rushing. Number 1 in the country, 5.6 yards a snap. Credit Tom Hayes and his defensive coaching staff. Johnny Barr, the linebacker coach, and Lucius Selman, the outside linebacker coach, and Kevin Woolseden, the defensive line coach.
3rd and 9. Frazier looking for an open receiver. Got one at the 2. Touchdown, Nebraska. Abdul Muhammad. So Dick Vermeil here is a young man, quite a story. Abdul Muhammad with the touchdown pass to put him ahead.
I'll tell you this, all the way from California, he comes to play in this cold weather to catch a touchdown pass. And he has the bullet in the side, right? I wonder if it tingles at this temperature.
Not right now as he steps into the end zone. The doctors, just to follow up on that story, did not want to operate and take it out. And the extra point is good. Nebraska up by 7. So here he is, one of the itty-bitty gang. And itty-bitty got him a huge touchdown here in Lincoln. Finally, as far as Nebraska is concerned, a lead. They trailed. Oklahoma scored first in this game, 7-0. Now it is the Cornhuskers with their first lead here against Oklahoma in Lincoln. And it'll be up to Cale Gundy and the Sooner offense to see what they can do. Tom Sealer putting the ball on the tee here for Nebraska. Kareem Moss kneeling down to help him out. And we get word that Freeman has been lost defensively for the Sooners because of his injury. Johnson from the 5 to the middle of the field. Ball's loose. Ball is loose. And Nebraska piling on it and indicating that they have recovered it. Let them unsort here in the pile. Nebraska. David Sizes dove in over the top of the pile and recovered the fumble. There he is. And it was Wirtz who stripped the ball free on the return.
Johnson up there, a defensive back in a kickoff return position. You'll see the red jerseys coming around. He grabbed him right there by the foot. He actually dropped the ball before he ever made contact with anybody. He was losing the handle on the football. Now watch this. No, it's the hand right there. That slapped it out. Now he's trying to locate the ball and run at the same time. He cannot do it.
4th turnover of the day. Tossed down to Jones. Alley. Jones. Touchdown. Nebraska. Here is a player who's had a career against Oklahoma, and that is Calvin Jones. In 1991, 17 carries, 118 yards, and the winning touchdown with 2:57 to go. A year ago in Norman, 22 carries, 137 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And now he scores here today following Oklahoma's 4th turnover of the game. Byron Bennett hammers the extra point for the unbeaten Cornhuskers. A sigh of relief from the Orange Bowl committee. 2 touchdowns in 23 seconds and a 14-point lead for Nebraska.
The play that Calvin Jones loves to run, the deep high toss. gives a running back with real talent the opportunity to look at the point of attack, evaluate it, and then instinctively take him where his mind tells him to go.
Johnson will not return this one. Instead, it'll be Mills. And Mills short of the 15-yard line, and Sizes, who recovered that fumble, makes the stop. What a special teams performer he is. And it was Winter right there who forced that fumble by Johnson. But Sizes, he becomes a candidate for our MVP here today.
Yes, he does. Good block on the left side of your screen by Gerald. Armstrong, 95, gets a turnout now. Corey Sledger right there. Fullback, see that block right there? That paves the way. Good job by Corey Sledger, giving him the room to run.
Uphill now for the Sooners and Cale Gundy. They show blitz. They come. He rolls away from it, but cannot buy enough time. And he's down as Dwayne Harris sacks him, and he's injured at the 7-yard line.
Charlie McBride, the defensive coordinator, doing a good job. He knows it's tough to throw the football, so he's going to come with blitzes. If they do try to throw it, he has pressure coming on him. They have no time to set up. Harris will come from the top of your screen, number 86. See, he flashes in there. The linebackers are coming up. See him coming around the outside. Here he has good speed. He's turned back inside there by Raymaker's number 67. And Harris makes the play. That's the third big play that Harris has been involved in. There he is right there.
Gundy, and the delay is eaten up at the 2-yard line. Christian Peter, number 55, leading the defensive charge, and Dean Blevins, it has to be a little gloomy right now on that Sooner sideline.
Well, it is a dejected sideline because Oklahoma feels they outplayed Nebraska for a good portion of the game. The Huskers hung in there. Oklahoma now doing what it did not want to do, and that's be in a must-pass situation where Nebraska can come from the outside. It's Sokola can't even talk, guys.
Oh, we'll feel for you down there.
Some guys just aren't very tough. Where's old Root?
Root took the day off. He looked at the weather forecast and said, I'm home for the holidays. That's it. What a guy. And this time the defense equal to the challenge again. And they just stand up, Mr. Chandler. Nothing doing. And a penalty flag comes down for that celebration, eh? Wouldn't you think?
It's down there for some reason.
I mean, the game's not over, guys. They're turning somersaults.
Dead ball. Personal foul on the offense.
Wow. On the offense. I'd have been so frustrated, I might have stumbled into some guy turning a somersault myself.
I kind of doubt it. I kind of doubt it. See, Oklahoma going totally away from their personality for the year. They were setting a record on the fewest